Have you ever felt completely drained? Like life has thrown so much at you that you don't even know how you're going to keep going? If that's you, if you felt that way, if you feel that way now, this is a verse you need. Isaiah 40:31 contains a promise that brings us hope and encouragement. It points us to the strength we can find in God even when things aren't going our way. And in this video, we're going to explore the meaning of Isaiah 40:31, uncover its powerful promises, and learn how it applies to our lives today. And whether you're walking through a tough season or you just need some encouragement, this verse holds something for you. Let's start by looking at what it says. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Before we can look at what this verse means, we need to take a look at the context in which it was written. This will give us a more accurate picture of what Isaiah is saying and bring us to a richer understanding of how this verse applies to our lives. You see, the book of Isaiah is one of the most famous books of prophecy, and it's one of the most important books in the Bible. The book is regularly quoted throughout the New Testament and is one of Jesus' go-to books to quote. In Isaiah 40, it starts off with these powerful words, "Comfort my people, says your God." You see, during this time, Israel was in a difficult season of division within their nation, and they were invaded by an outside nation of the Assyrians. And they were tempted to think that God had left them, and their hope was shrinking. And in this chapter, Isaiah is encouraging his people to continue to place their trust in God. Though things might seem hopeless, God is still in control, and he will lead them through. In Isaiah 40:27 through 31, we see Isaiah drive this point home. And it's what leads us to Isaiah 40:31. This powerful verse paints a picture of how God cares for his people. It's a promise from God of how he will provide. Let's take a closer look. In this verse, we see three powerful images of what God's promise to his people looks like. And to better help you understand what this verse means, I want to take a look at each of these promises and see how they apply to us today. And this verse starts off with this phrase, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength." Those who hope in the Lord. This can also be translated as those who wait upon the Lord. But either way that you translate it, the message of this verse is the same. And I love how Dr. Tom Constable says it. He says this expression, "those who wait on the Lord," implies two things: complete dependence on God and a willingness to allow him to decide the terms. Now, remember the context here. Israel is facing all sorts of hardships, and they're struggling to trust God through it all. And Isaiah is encouraging his readers to wait on God, to place their hope in him. Though things might be difficult, God will come through. And the message here is that we must place our complete trust in God. And if we do that, he will sustain us. Our strength will be renewed. But Isaiah isn't done yet. Next, he gives us three powerful images to better help us understand what this means. Next, he says, they will soar on wings like eagles. Now, eagles are known for their strength and their ability to soar far above the clouds and through storms. They're powerful creatures, and in ancient cultures, eagles were revered as mighty and courageous warriors who would fight for their young. And Isaiah here is comparing these majestic and noble creatures to those who remain faithful to God. To soar or mount up on the wings like eagles means that God will bring his people through the storms they are facing. This is an incredible image of what God's people have to look forward to. God will not only renew their strength, but he will bring them through the obstacles they are facing. They will soar on wings like eagle. All God's people need to do is trust him. Next, Isaiah says they will run and not grow weary. Isaiah isn't done painting this picture of what God will do for his people. For all those who place their hope in God, they will run and never grow weary. See, whenever you run, eventually you grow weary. It doesn't matter how good of shape you're in, at some point you will become tired and unable to continue. And what Isaiah is saying here in this verse is that for God's people, they will never grow weary. Now, he's not talking here about physically running a race. Rather, he's promising that God will give them the strength they need to sustain them through the trials they are facing. And he continues by saying they will walk and not be faint. You see, for 40 years, God's people wandered in the desert. They walked and walked and walked. And despite all this wandering, God not only provided for them, he sustained them. They walked and they did not faint. Isaiah is telling his readers that they too can experience God's power at work in their lives. Just as God delivered their ancestors, he can and he will deliver them too. If they remain faithful, they will wait on God. They will soar like eagles, run and not grow weary, and walk and not be faint. So, how does Isaiah 40:31 apply to your life today? While this verse was written to the nation of Israel who are facing these difficult hardships, the same principles still apply to us today. Our call is to place our hope in and wait on God. Whatever you are facing, you are called to trust in him, and he will sustain you. The promise found in this verse is found all throughout the New Testament. In Ephesians 3:20, Paul tells his readers that God's power is at work in us. In James 1:12, we see that great is the reward for those who trust in God through trials. And in Hebrews 12:2, we're told to run the race with perseverance. Just as God provided for the nation of Israel, God still provides for his people today. And the message of the Bible is clear: trust in him. There will be dark days. There will be tough trials. But for those who place their hope in the Lord and wait upon him, he will lead them through. God's people will soar on wings like eagles. And my challenge for you is to take a few minutes, reflect on this verse, look how God has sustained you in the past, and spend some time praying for strength going forward. The next time that you face a trial or hardship, don't go at it alone. Wait on God. Look to him. Don't go for it by yourself, but go for it with God. And if you do that, he will give you what you need. You will soar on wings like eagles. You will run and not grow weary when you look to God for your strength. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it challenged and encouraged you by what God will do for you. If it did, would you leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts? And then also don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can stay up to date on future content that's coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.